Welcome to PurelyHR. Today we're going to go through our staff and time off modules. This is the screen that you will first see as an administrator, with the community calendar in the middle, the navigation pane on the left, and some leave information on the right. Under Settings, you can create different time off types. Deductible time off would be things like sick time or vacation, anything with a yearly allowance or a balance. Non-deductible would be anything that you want to track or show on the calendar but does not deduct from anywhere. It is more or less for your tracking purposes. Within each time off type, there are different settings. You can decide for each type if full and partial days are available, or only full or only partial. You can determine what increments you will allow and who is able to view this type of time off request on the community calendar. Time off policies are templates that include different groups of time off types, each with their own settings. If we look at the policies here, we've named them based on how much vacation is in each policy. There are individual settings for each of the personal, sick, and vacation time off types. You can decide if the year is based on a fiscal year or anniversary of user hire dates. You can determine if time off is given upfront at the beginning of the year or if it will accrue at your desired interval throughout the year. The length of service is what automates the bump from one policy to the next. You can have several different policies that are assigned to users after any specified length of service with the organization. It can be on their anniversary or on the calendar year. Prorated balances will allow you to set up a template that shows what percentage of a yearly allowance an employee will receive based on their hire date. For instance, if you give 10 days upfront on January 1st, an employee that is hired in July is only eligible for 50% of the 10 days, and the system will take care of assigning them the correct balance. Come January 1st, they will receive 100% of the balance for the next year. Special event dates allow you to put office-wide or company-wide events on the calendar, such as annual meetings, holiday parties, and even paydays. You can decide if time off requests are allowed or not allowed for this date. For example, if you have a mandatory annual meeting, you can block the time off requests for that day. You have the option to set restrictions. Time off restrictions can be used in two different ways. You can use them to impose a set of blackout dates, or you can use it to manage how many employees in a specific office or department are off at any given time. Time off type restrictions can be set for you to force your employees to use one time off type before they are eligible to use another. There are lots of different reports available on the left. The most popular report being the time off summary. This report gives an overview of the employee's leave information. Here you can see any approved, pending, rejected, or canceled requests as well. The employee has access to their own time off summary so that they can review this information at any time. The Time Off Details report will allow you to see the details of every time off request that had been submitted for your specified date range. These reports can be exported in a PDF or a CSV, or you can print them directly from the system for your records. You can set automated reports in tools such as the Time Off Details report or weekly payroll. The iCalendar setup will allow you to link with any Google, Outlook, Apple, or Mac desktop calendars. You can set up different reminders in the system, whether it is for upcoming time off, paid holidays, birthdays, or anniversaries. You can determine who receives the reminder and how often. The account settings are the heart of the time off module. Your subscription to PurelyHR includes a free account setup call that will allow us to assist you in setting up the account for the first time. Every user has an individual profile within the system. The Allowance tab will allow you to see the time off policy that they have been assigned to. The Balance tab will show their current balances, and you can manually add or subtract from the balance here. The approval hierarchy has different approval paths available. By default, any manager assigned to an employee can approve a time off request and only one approval is required. However, you can change this to any X out of Y so that 2 out of 3 need to approve, or a specific sequence so that manager A has to approve the time off request and then manager B has to approve before the time off request is considered fully approved. The Management tab will allow you to see the managers that have been assigned to the employee. The Balance Accrual tab gives a summary of the time off types that accrue. Bank Time gives an overview of the employee's bank time. Service Accrual tab will show which length of service has been assigned to the employee that will bump them to the next policy when they are deserving of an increase. Calendar View allows you to determine who can view whose calendar. Options are general settings for the employee. In addition to receiving an email when a user puts in a time off request, managers and administrators will see pending requests on the right side of their calendar and on their calendar with a red question mark. They can click it on the calendar or on the right-hand side, and the manager can reject, cancel, approve, or edit the time off request. The Staff module is the core module that will hold all of the information about your employees and locations. Each department can have its own color reference. This is because you can choose to view the calendar with colors that represent the different time off types or the different departments. By default, everyone will fall into the head office, but if you have another location, you can easily reassign your employees into different offices, as we've done here with the New Brunswick office. Paid holidays are then assigned to each office. It's as easy as clicking Import Holidays, choose the year, choose the country you are importing for. If you have any other office closures or non-stat holidays, these can be represented on the calendar by clicking Create Holiday. You can add an employee individually by clicking Create User. Or if you are importing for the first time, you can use an existing spreadsheet and change the headers or pick the columns that you would like to include. Simply download the template, fill it in, and upload it directly to the system. Under Profile, you can capture personal details, emergency contact information, and address information. Employment will hold the user's employment information and history. Account will show the username and role. Here you can send the welcome email to an employee at any time should they forget their password to quickly and easily reset it. You can send this email as many times as it's required. Compensation will hold the salary details. Documents will store any user or account documents. Account documents are accessible by everyone in the account. You can use this folder for documents like an employee handbook or a company directory. User documents are specific to the employee, meaning only administrators and that particular employee have access to these documents. You can store documents such as a contract or a performance review here. Notes, skills, and values can be documented in the employee profile as well. The Staff report will allow you to pick from 9 different columns of information from their profile, and you can print directly from the system or export to CSV or PDF. The Onboarding feature will allow you to create different templates based on different roles within the organization that will each have their own checklist of tasks and documents to sign. Everyone that is assigned a task in the Onboarding feature must check off on their task before this can be marked as complete. The termination process is a custom checklist of reports to run or things to do when someone's given their final notice. This allows you to set their final day in the system. This will cancel any time off requests dated past their final day. At the end of that day, the account will be inactivated, so the employee will no longer be able to log in, and it simply archives the profile. It doesn't delete it so that you can access it again in the future if necessary.